Okay, so before I gathered my thoughts to do this review, I had felt the urge to check out an old Boldy James mixtape that I remember from back in the day. That was the first release I had ever heard him on, and that was Consignment Favor for a Favor back in 2012. Now, I'm not saying I was the first Boldy James fan, but I knew about him early on. But this project is still on streaming. If you haven't heard it, you should go peep it. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Muff. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash the like button for your boy. Also subscribe if you haven't, as that is greatly appreciated. But today, I'm going to be hitting y'all with my thoughts on this new project from Boldy James and Conductor Williams entitled Across the Tracks. Detroit's own Boldy James, he's the epitome of a consistent, prolific artist who just doesn't quite get the props that he deserves. Now, I know I have used similar terms to describe other artists in the underground scene, but Boldy really fits that description to a T, and he is one of the best runs out of the artists who fit a similar description. Boldy James has had this impressive album run really since 2020 with no misses, I would say. His run to me is as strong as artists like Lloyd Banks, Nas, and even Ransom. Now, earlier this year, Boldy had dropped The Penalty of Leadership project produced by Nicholas Craven, and that was a dope release to kick off 2024, and it's a project that is likely some people's album of the year. Now, he is linked with Conductor Williams, one of the most sought after producers currently in the traditional rap underground space. And I feel like this collaboration was bound to happen given that these two individuals run in similar circles. It makes sense. So this new project, Across the Tracks, it contains 10 songs lasting 26 minutes. The only features come from Bojack, his son, and Double D. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Terms and Conditions, it sets us off with these bright, wailing soul chops and twangy guitars. There is an upbeat, gospel-like feel to it, and Boldy is talking about some things that he had to come to terms with just to survive the trench. He raps, I learned to pedal drugs before I learned to ride a bike, blow strong as a quarter stick, signing out JJ Dynamite. So obviously, you were getting that Good Times reference with JJ Dynamite. Also, there is some cool wordplay with the peddling of drugs and bikes. Also, he has a nod to Big Daddy Kane and AZ with the lines, could never compete. They know the flow is rather unique. So overall, I feel this was a fire opener that sets this triumphant, soulful tone out the gate. Track 2, All Madden, features his son, Bojack, and it's backed by this syrupy, mellow boom bap production. The flow is crispy, and there's a slight bop to this instrumental. Now, on this record, Boldy is realizing that he has to stick around for his family, so he can't be caught lacking or doing any dumb stuff because, you know, it's game time. He's on All Madden. The second verse, it features his son, Bojack, who does kick some street stuff, but as a whole, you know, I dug the smooth, sweet instrumental, and Boldy rapping with his son was a cool thing. Afterwards is Flying Trapeze Act, one of the standouts where we get a sparkling, colorful backdrop from Conductor. I like the majestic keys, the attractive soul chops. It's a dreamy soundscape indeed. One that I could almost envision Scarface and, let's say, Freddie Gibbs rapping over as guest features for some reason. I think that would have been dope. On this one, Boldy is likening the street life to that of walking a tightrope. So there is that circus element here, as he states, this ain't no Barnum and Bailey. In my hood, this shit's like the heart of Kuwaiti. Don't get your wig flipped and parked with a Drakey. Also, Brick is Sexy Red, I just took that bitch to Pound Town. Okay, that was kind of funny, but altogether, Flying Trapeze Act was a real gem. Immediately after is the Old Switcheroo, which has a minimalist backdrop that's murky and hypnotic. It sounds like the possible setting for an old chain robbery. Boldy's delivery is very grim and icy here. He's painting a picture and talking about living life as this stove god who makes that blue flame under kettle music. All in all, I dug his calm, cool, collected Coke Talk. And the beat was pretty low key but dope at the same time. Next is Undisputed, another high point set to swirling strings and hi hats. It sounds like the soundtrack to an unsettling crime caper. Boldy is rapping in more of an urgent tone, reminding folks that the truth will reveal itself. It is undisputed. He goes on to talk about how there's truth in every lie and even smart remarks from people. So it does make you stop and think about the times when folks will get those jabs and digs in, but they try to disguise it with humor. But all along, you're like, bro, I'm hip to what you're doing. You're really hating. But yeah, Undisputed was definitely one of the ones I will be revisiting. Following this is Lampshade, and it has what I will call a definitive Conductor Williams type beat where we get the obscure vocal sample. It's warped in quality. You get the sax loop, and it's low key and light on the drums. It's that kind of beat that you could almost envision Jay Worthy, TF, and Larry June over, but fortunately they aren't this time. Now, that is not shade at those individuals, as I mostly like their music, but sometimes seeing those three on a track when the beat is kind of low energy can make things really sleepy. Some standout lines on this were, why would I take 500K over dinner with Hove if I could pay Jay $500,000 to sit with Emery Jones? I was like, whoa, that's a head scratcher right there. Hold up, let me rewind that. What did Boldy just say? Additional noteworthy bars were, a different type of bully print. Don't compare me to dog. They say his Jules VVS, but his character flawed. Okay, that was hard. There is track 7, St. Juliana, which is backed by this wholesome, warm, soulful beat with these endearing keys. The beat seemed ideal for reminiscing, and I could see maybe Conway and Benny sounding great here, possibly even Drake. On this record, Boldy is reflecting on where he comes from. He states, take me back in the day to my Mia Moore, back in the day where you could disguise being poor. I miss that old hell block. I brought the flame back. This that real East 1 shit across the train track. Afterwards is Permission, where we get this nocturnal lullaby-like vocal sample that does remind me of a beat that Nicholas Craven could have cooked up for Boldy. And with this track, Boldy is taking a page from Frank White and King of New York with, if a nickel bag is sold in the park, gotta run that by me. So things really can't go down without Boldy's full permission. This also features a solid performance from Double D, who says, same dudes be pointing guns that be pointing fingers, playing with them finger liquors, no Kentucky Fried. Hit this little bitch, got him looking like his puppy died. Man, that is ruthless, Double D. The second to last song is Off-White Lumberjack, and it's another highlight. Boldy, I feel, was really in his bag, spazzing over this moody rock-like beat. Some quote-worthy bars were, to be or not to be, crime school, and I majored in philosophy. Band Proctor with drums, got a doctor's in criminology, razoring the hard for that color money monopoly, gazing at the stars in that color, and that's astrology. So as you can hear and see, some super fly penmanship from Boldy. Then this project wraps up with Stamps in the Middle, where Boldy does interpolate some Jay-Z lines and concepts, and this is backed by these glorious horns and soulful chops that just scream that 1960s, 1970s black cinema era. Boldy raps, I made it out unscathed, block so hot that you could sunbathe, neighborhood full of dead ends and one-ways, made man ain't no more hustling on Sundays, which instantly made me think of Sci-Hi's No Dope Sold on Sundays, or you could also think about the Sunday Truce from The Wire, although that dealt with murder. So overall, I'm going to give this project a rating of 4 mics. Now, I know I rated Penalty of Leadership at 4 mics as well, but if I were to compare these two, I would rank Across the Tracks slightly higher, but not by much, because both albums are very comparable in quality. I just feel like the beats on Across the Tracks resonated with me a little more, probably due to more of that drum presence. Also, Boldy's delivery might have been slightly more enthused on here as well for me. But don't get me wrong, Penalty of Leadership was also a very strong release this year. Yeah, Across the Tracks is another win for Boldy. And the only thing I can say is, as good as Boldy is, and as much as I enjoy his projects, there's still a part of me that sometimes wish that he could stay on topic just a bit more and possibly flesh out some more of his storytelling, just a tad bit more. And I think that would be really impressive to see on future releases. My favorite tracks include Terms and Conditions, Flying Trapeze Act, The Old Switcheroo, Undisputed, St. Juliana, Off-White Lumberjack, and Stamps in the Middle. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but as always, it's peace and blessings. Boldy James, Conductor Williams, across the tracks. One.